Fun. My YouTube live just completely disconnected. That is not a good sign. So I hope TikTok is not experiencing really bad Wi-Fi as well. What the heck? I just checked this like 5 seconds ago. And all right, well, if there are issues in the chat, let me know. Other than that, I guess it's time to get started. Let's go. We are doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency. It is the weekend. We have a special live on the weekends. It is at 9 a.m. So we start the day with some stretching, start the day with some fitness, start the day with some muscle suffering, and hopefully you have enough fun to keep coming back. We do this live every day at 9 p.m. otherwise, and you should come and check those out too. Hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back, all those cool things, and let's go. We are starting with hip cars. Hip cars look a little bit like this. We are using our muscles to lift our knee as high as possible directly in front. Then we're going to open up that hip directly to the side or as far open as you can. You want to keep this hip, in the same spot. All the movement is coming from this leg. All right. From here, we're going to rotate this ankle up. Whee! Boom, until it's hidden behind the knee. And then I want you to keep going. Bring that ankle higher, 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 higher. From the side, it looks a little bit like this. We have did that high knee. We opened it up. And then we rotated the legs as the ankle comes up. And then we keep going. Ankle comes up as high as you can. Your hamstrings might feel like they're about to cramp. And then we're going to bring that leg down and back. All right? We're flexing the hamstrings. We're flexing the glutes. Pulling them nice and tight, like we're like a donkey kicking that leg back, right? And we're trying to feel the stretch right here in the hip flexor. That is 1 rep. I know it was a little confusing. Once we start doing them in circles, it won't be as confusing because I turned around and all sorts of stuff. But the basics are we're opening up and we're trying to get as big a range of motion out of our leg and hip situation as possible. All right, let's go. We're going to do a couple of reps. I want you to put your hand up against the wall, either at your elbow level, maybe up high, to help you stay balanced. There is absolutely no reason why you need to be like this while doing the exercises, right? If you're falling over, hold on to something. Let's go. Stand up straight. Keep that core nice and tight. Keep the hips basically not moving. All the movement is coming from that leg. All right, let's do this. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 1 rep. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 2 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 3 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 4 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 5 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 6. Oh, got a hamstring cramp. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 7. 3 more high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 8. 2 more high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 9. Oh, last one. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 10. Oh, if your hamstrings are crying a little bit, that's relatively normal. And we're going to continue. We're going to do the other side. Once again, we're standing up nice and straight, holding on to something for a little bit of balance. And let's begin. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. If you're just starting and you're pretty new to this, focus on that high knee. Lift it as high as you can. Keep going. You might notice if you pulled on that leg, you can pull it higher than you can lift it by yourself with your muscle power. That's completely normal. But that's what we're training. We're trying to give your muscles the ability to lift your leg up with your leg muscles and not just pull them in with your arm muscles. All right? From there, open. Rotate the ankle up. If you can get to horizontal, a little bit more pull. And hopefully, some of those muscles in the back will just slowly relax and chill. And when you're no longer feeling a whole bunch of stiffness in that low back, we're contracting, they bring bones closer to each other. And it happens that one end of your hamstring is pretty much right here behind the knee, just below the knee, and the other end is connected to the bottoms of your pelvis. That is why when you fold forward and your pelvis is going further and further and further away, it starts going up. All right, we have a phone replaced. Let's continue. Whew, that is our elephant walk. Continue, 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 continue. And when you are feeling a little bit looser, feeling a little bit more comfortable, going back and forth, I want you to try to fold a little bit deeper. Fold, 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 fold. And get back into it. You might be feeling a little bit of tingliness in your calves and in your toes. If that is happening for you, breathe and relax. There's nothing you can do about that except make the intensity a little bit less intense. This is often called nerve flossing, nerve stretching, nerve gliding, and it's just your nerves sliding around in your body trying to figure out why you're stretching so hard. All right, pop into a little bit of a squat. Come on back into standing, and that is our second warm up exercise. We're going to now do some stuff to make our backs a little looser, a little bit more flexible. This is called thoracic rotation. The thoracic spine is the part of the spine that's above the low back, so it's kind of like belly button ish to the neck. There's a bunch of bones in here that are designed to move real well from side to side, to rotate, forward bend, back bend. In fact, it's probably the most mobile part of your whole entire spine. It does most of the work for when you're moving. When your mid back, the thoracic spine, is not moving well, it forces your low back to compensate, and that often is related to why you have low back pain. All right. So the more mobile you are up here in the thoracic spine, the less mobile you need to be in your low back, and the less pressure you'll be experiencing on your low back. So let's get into some thoracic rotation, because I know nobody in the regular life is doing any rotation ever, because the only thing you rotate for is like pretending to check your blind spot, and that's like a third of a pretend rotation. Cool. So what are we doing? We're getting back into that same position that we were just in. One knee is bent, one leg is straight. We're folding our belly button down, 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 down. Boom. Now that we are here, we're going to take the arm from the bent leg side. We're going to reach across the body to the straight leg side. I want you to grab sort of that shin bone, the outside of it, and I want you to push against it to help rotate and open up your chest. All right? And then I want you to extend the other arm up into the air as high as you can. And I want you to look at that hand so your neck is also joining in and you're rotating a little bit there. All right? From here, we're trying to reach as far back over the shoulder as possible. If you can't reach any further, you're stuck. Take a small breath in and exhale. And as you exhale, reach. Oh, man, that is half of a rep. We got to do the other side. Again, one leg is bent, one leg is straight, and excuse me, what do you need? The angle is weird. I have been told the angle is weird. Oh man, I don't know what's going on. Alright, we're fine. Let's go. If it looks like I have some issues hearing, it's because I have a different earbud in every single ear to make sure each phone has audio. And now I can't hear when IT is telling me things. Okay. Where are we at? We're doing some thoracic rotation. We have done one leg, and we're doing the other leg. So one leg is bent, one leg is straight. We're taking this arm, we're reaching across to the straight leg, we're pushing against that straight leg, we're opening up our chest, we're looking up at that hand, we're reaching, we're reaching, we're reaching. When we can't reach any further back, I want you to take a small breath in, and then exhale. While you exhale, I want you to reach a little further. That really loud sigh, that was an exhale. That is officially, finally, one rep. We're doing 5 of these in total. We got 4 more to go. So let's go. Bent leg, straight leg. Bent arm, straight leg. Open, 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 open. Breathe. Reach a little further. That's half rep. Other side. Bent, straight. Reach. Open. Breathe. For everything that we do, try not to hold your breath. The more you hold your breath, the more tension is going to be in your rib cage, the more tension is going to be in your chest, and that is not going to help you fold. It's not going to help you rotate. It's not going to help you relax. So make sure you're always breathing, and you don't have to hyperventilate. So when I start talking real fast and doing moves real fast, you don't have to move as fast. You can take it chill so that you can relax. All right. Other side. Bent leg, straight leg. Bent arm, straight leg. Open. Breathe. Breathe again. And that is, I think, rep 2. Open. This must be 3. It can't be on 2. Right? That's 3. We got 2 more. Open. And down. And open. And down. That's 4. One last one. Open up that chest. Breathe. Ah, that's 5. Open up that chest. And that is 5. Those are our thoracic rotations. It seems like a cloud has come through because all of a sudden the room is way darker. From here, we have finished our second warm-up exercise. We're moving on to a third and final warm-up exercise. It is called the Cossack switch. You don't have to jump in. I'm going to demonstrate real quick, and I'll tell you when we're doing reps. All right? We're going to open up our legs. We're going to rotate this leg so that the heel is down, the toes are pointing out, and we're going to pop into a deep squat on this side. Don't worry about not being able to get into one just yet. I'm just demonstrating what it could look like in the future. From here, we're scooting our butts over to the other side. We're pausing for a second. We're trying to squish a little bit deeper, and then we're coming back. And we're trying to squish a little bit deeper. That is a Cossack switch. Pretty deep Cossack switch. Most of us are going to have the ankle or hip mobility to pull one off quite that deep. So let's pre-stretch those ankles and pre-stretch those hips so that you can get into as deep of one as you can. I want you to pop into a deep squat as deep as you can go from the side of my leg a little bit like this, right? And I want you to try your best to let your hamstrings rest on your calves and lean forward so that your heels are a little bit off the ground. All right. When your heels are off the ground, your Achilles tendon should be stretched, your calves should be getting stretched, your ankles in general should be getting stretched. And I want you to fold your chest down towards your knees. Whew. Breathe, chill for a second, and then add a little wiggle, add a little dance. Do a little bit of movement. Doesn't have to be crazy. You can just push one knee out, push one knee back, open it up, close it, do a little boogie, do a little dance, pretend you're walking in this position. And what we're doing is we're just getting some extra blood flow to the ankles, to the knees, to the hips, getting them used to a little bit of off balanceness, some adjusting, because we're about to do some Cossack switches. They're going to be way harder than this. All right. Once you have hung out here for a little bit, you feel a little bit more comfortable, we're ready to do some Cossack switches. I want you to go from this position where you're tucking your knees into your chest and stick your hands just straight down into the ground. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy, just straight down. From here, we're going to extend one leg out to the side. Have the heel down, toes point kind of up. For the demonstration purposes, I'm flexing the foot real hard to point them straight up. But when you're actually doing them, there's no point to flexing your foot so hard. You can relax. All right. From here, we're doing the other side. We're dropping this heel down to the ground. All right. A lot of this movement requires stability and balance, and we want you to be the most prepared for it. So I want you to have that heel down. It will definitely help with stability. What I want you to do is get into your lowest possible position with that heel down. If you can get all the way down, great. If you're a little bit tighter, you're not as experienced in this position, and you're a little bit higher up, that's perfectly fine. It's part of the process. All right. From here, we're shifting our weight over to the other side. And we're going to pause here for a second. We're going to try to squish a little bit deeper, and then we're going to come back. That's it. That's the Cossack switch. All right. If you're a little bit more experienced, if you're deeper and you're struggling to get your butt over, you can use your hands. It looks like this. We are putting our hands down as we scoot. Gives us a little bit more stability, helps reduce the amount of strength we need to have, and we're right back where we started. All right. That is more than enough information to get started. Let's go. We're doing 10 reps together. Squeeze, get as low as you can, have this heel down and that heel down, and squish. Put your hands down if you need to. Walk your hips over to the other side. Boom, squish. Come on back. Ooh, that's 1 rep. Keep going. Ooh, that's 2. Squish and squish. When I say squish, I don't mean it as like a we are like pulling ourselves into a ball. Well, I mean you can, but don't do it so aggressively that it looks like you're I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a good example for what that could be. What turns itself into a ball? Like a roly poly bug? You're not trying to do that. You're just trying to exhale and relax into a deeper stretch. Most of the time, when we're scooting across, we're going to be tensing muscles, we'll be flexing hard, and that is going to be the opposite of relaxing. So when you get to the other side, just relax for a second. All right. I have completely lost count of how many of these we've done, but I think it's like 5. When you have done a bunch of these, and you're like, hey, I don't think I need to use my hands. You don't have to use your hands. You can just keep going without them. If you are feeling some discomfort in the inside of your knee, then you can try to come up, come across, and then sink into that bottom position. This will take some pressure off of the knee for the in-between positions, and it'll get you into a higher, more relaxing position, at least for your inner knee. And you can work on that. Again, it's up, across, down, up, across, down to help relieve some tension. I think we've done 8. If you want to make this harder, you can try and sit up real straight. Imagine there's a little piece of string straight into the ceiling, helping keep your back very, 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 very straight. And that is how we do that. Ooh. You might need to counterbalance by sticking your hands out straight in front of you and keep going. I think this is 10. That's 10. All right. Oh, that is our warm-up exercise. If that is worrying to you, because you're like, wait, that's just warm-up? Don't worry. This is a stretching and hip mobility show. We do a lot of stuff in the warm-up to help make sure that our muscles are ready, prepared, our joints are moved and warmed up, so that the stretches are the maximum, most effective version of the stretch that we can get, right? Whew. What that means is it's time to stretch. And I recommend you go grab a little piece of foam because we're about to put our knees down on the ground like this. Could be anything. Could be an old shoe you don't care about. Stick it underneath your knee. Could be dirty laundry. You can just roll up, stick under your knee. If you have a yoga mat, great. Fold it a couple times, stick it under your knee. Decorative pillow, dog bed, couch cushion, whatever it is, tiny little bit of foam, stick it under your knee, and we're ready to go. I'm gonna go grab my own. Boom. From here, we're going to drop down onto one knee, and we're going to get ready to do a hamstring stretch. All right, extend one leg out in front, and we're basically done. It's folding forward, boom, hamstring stretch. There are a couple of details I want you to keep track of. One is the angle of your hips. I want you to, for a second, bring your knees together and look down at those hips. This position, where your hips are nice and square to the rest of your body, nice and flat, is what we want to try our best to do. And that's because when we get into this one leg in front, one leg behind stretch, we get a little tempted by the front split. And all of a sudden, one leg starts going way far out. We're feeling the stretch, and this other leg is going back. And all of a sudden, one hip is way out there, one hip is way back there, and we're all twisted up. And now the hamstring stretch is going to be way more difficult to get into because you have so many other muscles competing for your attention. So don't do that. Pull that leg back in. Square up those hips as if your hips were right underneath you with your knees together. And you can also imagine that you're inhaling, sucking that leg into your butt. And that should have us in a good starting position. Okay? If you have a leg that's less flexible, get started with that one first. Because we talk a lot, and by we, I mean I talk a lot, and I explain a bunch more that first go around, and then we chill more for the second go around. All right? Let's go. Hips square, leg extended, widen the stance a little bit for balance if you need to. That's probably a little too far, but this is probably good. From here, we're folding the belly button down. Fold, 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 fold. That is our hamstring stretch. If you're a little bit higher up, that's absolutely fine. It's totally part of the process, and it takes time to build up your flexibility. All right. From here, I want you to breathe. Sigh out all the extra air in your lungs. Relax. If your feet are flexed, if your toes are flexed, if your calves are working real hard, those don't have to work very hard. Relax. Relax your glutes, relax your low back, and just keep on trying to chill. Whew. From here, we're ready to do some inhale, exhale, fold. What is the inhale, exhale, fold? Well, it's very descriptive in its wording. We're going to take a big breath in, inhale. We're going to slowly exhale a ton of that air, but just a little bit at a time. And while we exhale, we're going to fold. All right. So on that inhale, I want you to take in as much air as you can without inflating like a balloon. All right. So we got into our first fold. I want you to take in a bunch of air without moving. And then I want you to slowly exhale. Fold, 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 fold. That was just a demonstration. But if you've already done it, you can just hang out here. For everybody else who has not done it, we're going to do it for realsies now. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Now you're in a much deeper stretch. Your hamstrings are probably crying. They're unhappy with you, and that's okay. We're going to try and keep the angle of our hips at this level. We're trying not to come back up. We're going to try and stay here for the most part. If you wiggle up and down just a little bit, it's fine. All right? Again, relax your calves, relax your toes. If your feet are really pointed and they're really tense right now, you can let them relax. Glutes, low back. Sigh. Release as much air as possible. And once you hung out here for a little bit and you've breathed here for a little bit, don't hold your breath. We're going to do one more inhale, exhale, fold. And we're going to wrap up. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Fold, 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 fold. Now your hamstring is probably very unhappy with you. And that's a good sign because we're going to hold for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. Keep on breathing. Keep on relaxing. Relax the calves, relax the toes, relax the feet, relax the glutes, relax the low back, relax the hamstrings if those will even relax. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. If your knees are feeling a little achy, there's too much pressure, you can give it a slight bend. When you bend them, it takes a whole bunch of pressure off of your hamstring stretch, also relieves your knee pain. And you can focus on folding the belly button down a little bit deeper first, and then once you're as deep as you can straighten out that leg again. So don't worry about your knee not being perfectly straight right now. Okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that is our hamstring stretch for one leg. We got another leg to do. Come on over to the other side. Drop the hips down. Check out how square they are. Maintain that squareness. Bring one leg out in front. Don't get into this situation where you're getting all rotated and twisty because you're trying to do a front split. We're not doing that. We are bringing our hips back together and we're folding downwards. Whee! You feel that in your hamstrings. You might be feeling it in those glutes. We talked about this earlier where the hamstrings turn into tendons and your tendons connect into the bottom of your pelvis, and that's basically what the bottom of your butt feels like. So that's probably what you're feeling. All right. From here, we're going to inhale, exhale, fold. All right. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Relax. Breathe. Try to relax as many muscles as possible. Your toes, your feet, your calves, your hamstrings if they'll relax, your glutes and your low back. Sigh. Let out that extra air in your lungs. Deflate. Relax. And breathe some more. That's the hamstring stretch. We got one more inhale, exhale, fold, and then we'll be ready to do our 30 seconds. All right, let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. That is our second fold. So 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27. Right now, I've lost an earbud. It's so far away. I cannot reach. Oh, man. 26, 25, 24, 23, 22. If you're feeling a whole bunch of tension in the back of your neck, if you're feeling a whole bunch of tension in the upper back, mid back, you're working too hard. All right? It's not about trying to smash your face into your knee. We're trying to relax our body. But if you're rotating and bending really hard, that's too much. It has nothing to do with your hamstrings. You're just stretching out your upper back. All right? So don't work those muscles. Relax those muscles. And your back might still arch. It just won't be uncomfortable. Where are we at? 15, 14, 13, 12. Again, put a slight bend in that knee if you need it, if you have knee pain, and that should take off some tension from your stretch. You can fold forward first and then slowly straighten out your leg. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that is our hamstring stretch. Whew. That is our first stretch. We spent a lot of time setting it up, getting ready, getting into the deepest version of our hamstring stretch because our third stretch, the pancake, is going to put a lot of demand on our hamstrings, and we want to be fully prepared for it. If you're ready, we're going to move on into stretch number 2. But before we do that, I gotta do the obligatory marketing stuff. We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day at 9 p.m. to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, and hopefully to make the suffering that we do on the floor a little bit more fun, a little bit more enjoyable. And hopefully that combination of all these things helps us stay really consistent, helps us make some progress, and helps us feel real good about it. All right? This is currently not 9 p.m. Eastern. It is currently 9 a.m. Eastern. That is because on the weekends we do a bonus live. So Saturday and Sunday mornings, we start the day with some side splits. We end the day with some side splits. We do double duty on the weekends. So if you like how this is going, even with all the IT issues, hit follow, hit subscribe, and keep coming back. All right? Let's go. Second stretch. Butterfly. We are sitting on our butts and leaning up against the wall. Right now, our head, our shoulders, our low back, our mid back, our butt are up against the wall. From here, what I want you to do is bring your feet together, maybe pull up your pants a little bit so you don't stretch out the knees of your pants, and pull your feet in towards your groin. The butterfly stretch is primarily a groin stretch. That means we're trying to stretch out the muscles here in the body. The way you do that is by bringing your knees down into the ground. And I want you to get stronger. I want you to get more mobile at the same time. So I want you to use your outer thigh muscles. I want you to use your glutes to help pull your legs down into the ground. If this is one of your first times on the live and you're like, what the heck is he talking about? What muscles are those? I don't feel a single thing. Don't worry so much about those muscles. Worry about feeling the stretch here in the groin. If your knees are going down just a little bit and you're feeling a stretch in the groin, you're doing the right thing. All right? The only way you could be messing this up is if your knees are coming together and you're hugging your knees like this. That is the wrong direction. So don't do that. Otherwise, if you're feeling a stretch in the groin, you felt like your knees dropped down just a little bit, you flexed the glutes, you flexed some outer thigh muscles, and you're just hoping for the best, that's probably good. All right? Next, we're taking our hands, we're applying a little bit of pressure to the leg. And we're going to push straight down. Push, 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 push. The reason why we are leaning against the wall is exactly for this part. When you do this, your arms are pushing your legs down, but your shoulders are pushing your back into the wall. So you should be feeling quite a bit of pressure in the back of your head and in your shoulders. That is completely normal. That's it. That's everything. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. If your shoulders are stuck way up high and your neck has disappeared like this, try to bring those shoulders down while you push your legs into the ground. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. If you were contracting those glute muscles, those outer thigh muscles, you can feel free to try to relax them now. And while you relax them, see if you can push your hands a little bit deeper into the stretch. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. We're almost done, but I feel like I counted fast. So 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. Let your hands go. Whee! Slide them off the legs. If your wrists are feeling a little bit tired from applying that pressure, you can give them a little wiggle, a little shake. And the important wiggle, the important shake right now is having your knees come up and down, flapping the wings of your butterfly. What I want you to do, if you can't get your legs to move right now and you're a little scared, is shake out your legs. Be like, hey, we got stuff to do. You can't be like this. We got stuff to do. Other leg, we got stuff to do. Wake up, wake up, wake up. And hopefully, after a little bit of shaking, your muscles do wake up and you can start flapping the wings of your butterfly. Flap, 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 flap. When your legs are working, we're ready to move on into stretch number 3. I mentioned this a couple of minutes ago when we were talking about the hamstring stretch and why we hold it for so long and we take it to this intense position is because of this stretch, the pancake. The goal of the pancake is to fold your legs and your body together, fold, 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 until you turn into a pancake, nice and flat. It is unreasonably difficult, this stretch, so we want to do the position that gets gravity to help us as much as possible, because we're already suffering. We want to get as much help from gravity as we can. It's keeping us grounded and our spines compressed. The least you can do is help us do some pancake. So what I want you to do, what I want you to do is open up your legs nice and wide. If you are feeling pain in your hips, you've gone too far, bring your legs a little bit closer together. And we're going to bring our belly button down towards the ground. We're folding. This is our starting position. All right. From the side, it looks a little bit like this. Whee! Folding forward. The way to get gravity to help you as much as possible is to keep your upper body as close to horizontal as possible. All right. And if you want to make things harder, you can extend your arms past your head so that your biceps are by your ears and breathe. All of a sudden, that should feel way harder. If you want, you can hold something in your hand and do the same thing. Breathe. And that should feel even crazier. You don't have to do any of those things if you don't want. I'm just letting you know how to make it more difficult and how to put yourself in more discomfort. From here, once you are folded forward, you might notice that you can open up your legs a little bit wider without your hips hurting. If you want to, go ahead and do that. When you do that, you're going to feel more of a stretch here in the inner thigh muscles, and you're going to feel it quite a bit more because we're going to hold this position. All right, belly button down, belly button down, belly button down. We're about to start the stretch. Keep on folding the belly button down. Extend your hands past your head if it helps. If you're feeling like your face is too close to the ground, you're about to fall over, you can imagine sticking your butt back instead of having your hips and your legs go straight up. All right? Stick your butt back. Let's go. Fold, 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 fold. Fold, fold, fold. Breathe. Sigh. Fold, fold, fold. Sigh. And 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Keep breathing. Don't stop believing. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, put your hands down. Oh, grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you need to. That is our pancake stretch. Whew. If you're feeling a little bit stuck right now in this position, that's okay. So am I. Start by wiggling your feet together a little bit, heels together, toes together, heels together, toes together, heels together, toes together, and hopefully you'll start regaining some function in your inner thigh muscles. And you can just keep going until you're about ready to stand up. Oh, if you've been folding forward for a long time and you're like, what's going on with my hamstrings? Why am I struggling to stand up? That is because the pancake is an evil stretch that we are working on. if You did that right. You're probably feeling the stretch here in the inner thigh muscles. These are called the adductors, like addition ductors. And what we just did was stretch them out real far, and then we forced those muscles to contract so that they were extra suffering. That's why those muscles are crying inside. The other place where you're supposed to be feeling it is your hamstrings. That's why we stretched the hamstrings real hard earlier, so that you can focus on the adductors and not just suffer through the hamstrings. But inevitably, your hamstrings are probably really tired and uncomfortable as well. Again, your hamstrings connect the behind the knee to the bottom of the pelvis. So whenever you fold forward, it doesn't matter if your feet are together or if your feet are apart. If your pelvis is folding forward, you're going to feel a crazy hamstring stretch, and that is why the pancake is painful. We're going to move on. We're going to move on to something a little gentler, something a little bit easier. We're going to move on to our fourth stretch. It is called the pigeon or the figure four, and that's because you make this thing that kind of looks like the number four. All right, we're going to bring one leg up just above the knee. We're going to grab that leg. We're going to pull it up to our belly button. We're going to bring our belly button down to that leg, and it's going to look a little bit like this, either the pigeon or the figure four, regardless of which one that you do. We're trying to feel the stretch here in the outside of this hip. This is a glute muscle, but it's the outside of your hip. From here, you can pick whichever one you like, whether you like the pigeon or the figure four. I demonstrate one stretch per day so we don't get bogged down in details. Today is the figure four day because we did pigeons last night. All right, so come on down to the floor and let's get into some figure four. If you already know what you like, you can, of course, start with whatever it is that you want. All right. Once you're down on the ground, breathe, relax for a second, and be like, oh man, laying down is so nice. All right, now we're going to cross one leg, rest it on the other knee. From here, we're going to stick our hand through the triangle we just made and stick the other hand around the other leg. And we're going to pull that knee in. That is part one. From here, I want you to take a nice breath. And when you sigh out that air, I want you to pull a little bit harder. Pull a little harder. Pull a little bit harder. That's it. That's the whole thing. Let's go. 30 seconds. Keep pulling that leg. Keep breathing. Keep relaxing. If you're breathing too much and you're getting lightheaded, that's too much breathing. So slow it down. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. Pull that leg in some more. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19. 18. If you're feeling a whole bunch of pressure on this bent leg's knee, you can grab that knee with your other hand. You can push it in directly into your chest, and that should give it a little bit of support. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Drop that leg. Drop everything. Relax. Let your hands flop to either side. Relax the other leg. You can let your hips drop and your knees drop to either side. Get a little bit of relaxation for the low back and those hips. That is one side. We got one more side to do. Remember, I'm all about grunting and groaning and making as many sound effects as you need to, because we're working hard, we're struggling, and you're allowed to make as many sounds as you want. All right, not just me. I encourage you to grunt and groan and do all of that. All right, let's continue on the other side. Rotate, and cross your leg over. Boom, other side. Extend our hand through the triangle, around the other leg. Pull that leg in and breathe. Sigh out that air. Relax. Breathe some more. Sigh out that air. Pull that leg in a little bit more. Sigh and pull. And I'm going to spin around like a turtle. Give me a second while I spin. Boom. Here we go. Let's go. 30 seconds. Pull some more. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. If your knees are getting achy, you can give them a nice pull, give them a little bit of support. 23, 22, 21. Remember to breathe. And as you exhale, see if you can pull a little bit harder. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, relax. Drop the leg. Let your knees flop to either side. And we're done with stretch number 4. We got one last stretch left. That is, oh, the side splits. If that sounds scary, if that sounds intimidating, don't be intimidated. I break it down into lots of little pieces and we get into it together. But before we get into our side splits, we got to talk about safety. All right? When we get into the side splits, we're going to inevitably get into a situation where our legs are kind of wide apart, our hands are on the ground for support, for balance, and we're just wiggling, we're squishing, we're trying to get deep into our stretch. Sometimes you'll find that you try to scoot your butt a little too far back, and all of a sudden you're falling backwards. You're going, no, oh no, oh no, oh no, and you're swimming through space, and all of a sudden you go, ah, and you fall backwards. If you're standing right in front of a wall, your butt will touch the wall, maybe your shoulders will slam back into it, and everything will be a-okay. If you try to do that without the wall behind you, and you went, no, I'm falling, and oh, you did that instead, your butt would really hurt, and you might not want to come back. If you don't remember, this show is all about practicing consistency. I want you to feel comfortable coming back, doing a little workout, and if your butt hurts, it's probably not going to make you want to come back. So stand 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall. Usually, for most people, that is 1.5 footsteps in front of the wall. That should give you enough room to do the movements, to move around freely. And also, if you lose balance, you start falling backwards, the wall's going to be right there to support you. When you get stuck in this position, you can just do a little hip thrust, whee, and you'll be back right into your side split. Cool? All right, let's get into side splits. I want you to open up your legs nice and wide. If your hips are hurting right here, and they're going, no, 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 you've gone too far. Just bring your legs back a little bit, and we're ready to fold. Fold this belly button down into the ground. Fold, 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 fold some more. Fold. Boom. Starting position looks just like the pancake. From here, we are sticking our hands into the ground. If you cannot do this, feel free to elevate your hands. Please do not use a foam roller because that is not going to be stable. This is just a demonstrative placeholder. My stool is way over there in front of the cameras. So, yeah. From here, we're going to do the most important part of the entire show. We're going to externally rotate our legs. Okay? And what I want that to look like is you're currently in this position where your feet are flat on the ground and your knees are kind of pointing forward, right? What we want is to rotate the leg so that the heels are down, the toes are up, the knees are pointing up into the sky, all right? That is the rotation we're looking for. And we can't just do this on one leg, we got to do this on both legs. So, rotate, boom, heels down, toes up, knees up on both sides. From here, we're already in our side splits. The only thing holding us back from a deeper side split is our muscles. Before, our thigh bone might rub into our hip bone and cause everything to be really uncomfortable and pinchy, but now that we've rotated our legs, they are not going to do that. So, you're already in your side split. From here, you might want to grab a little bit of foam or a little bit of cushioning for the underside of your heels because they might be feeling quite a bit of pressure. Other than that, we're going to wiggle. We're going to squirm. We're going to let our legs open up slowly into a deeper position until we're stuck. And that's our side split stretch. Slowly, slowly wiggle and come on down into that stretch. You can keep your hands on the floor or on your stool, on your prop the whole entire time. Try to use something relatively stable and not something round like a foam roller. And when you can't go any further, we're ready to start our stretch. 30 seconds Here we go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Remember, we're taking nice breaths, sighing out air, relaxing our muscles. I talked about having your toes pointed up into the sky before, but now that your hips are in position, we don't need to work that hard anymore. You can relax the foot, you can relax the calves, you can relax the hamstrings, the quads, the glutes, the low back. Relax as much as you can. Sigh. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Walk your hands forward. Oh, the further you walk your hands, the easier it will be to bring your legs back in behind you. Oh, that is our first side split. Congratulations, we've done the hard stuff. From here, I haven't said this yet actually, we're doing 3 rounds of 30 seconds of side splits. And in between each round, we're going to shake out our legs. We're going to remove some tension. Because what we just did was put a whole bunch of tension into our leg muscles, and now they don't want to work. They don't want to move. So to recover our ability to move, we need to relax those muscles. When you're ready, come back into standing. Stand on one leg if you can. I know it's a big ask. Shake out your other leg. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. You want that ankle to be relaxed and just doing whatever it wants to do. I don't want you to be using your muscles to control the foot. Right? What we want is your leg to be so relaxed, all the muscles above your ankle is relaxed. Because your foot can't move if the other muscles are tense. Right? Whew. Breathe, chill, relax, shaky, 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 wiggle, 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 relax, 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 relax. You are an an overcooked piece of spaghetti. Forgot it in the pot. It's soggy and it's floppy and it's just generally. That's what we want. All right, switch to the other side. Shake out the ankle. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. And when your legs are feeling a little bit looser, we're going to move on to the hips. All right? What I want you to do for the hips is very similar to what we were just doing with our ankles. I want you to put all your weight into one leg, but this time I want you to put your big toe of the other leg down into the ground. I want you to give that knee a slight bend so you can see exactly which direction your knee is pointing. From here, we're going to rotate the knee in, we're going to rotate the knee out, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out. What I want you to notice is that the rest of the body is not moving. We are just using muscles in the hip to bring the knees in and out, and in, and out, and in, and out. And as you get stronger, as you have more control over these muscles, you can start going a little bit faster. And as you are more familiar with this, you don't have to bend your knees nearly as much to prove that your knees are bending. You can start straightening out a little bit. Knee in, knee out, knee in, knee out, knee in, knee out, knee in, knee out. And, ooh, cowboy hat. Knee in, knee out, knee in, knee out. As you get much, much more skilled here, you can level this up into a relaxation thing as well. You don't have to be here today. I'm just showing you what's possible. You can put all of your weight, like super seriously, all of your weight into one leg. Drop the toe down. It's just there to have an anchor point. It's not there to hold any weight. We're going to start shaking. Shake it fast. Shake, 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 back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We're not even doing the full range of motion anymore. We're just going back and forth in a really small range of motion. And all of a sudden, your legs should be flopping all over the place because your quads can't keep up with the speed of everything else. And they're loose. So you're just turning your leg into jelly and your whole entire leg is flopping all over the place. Boom, relaxation. Other leg. All your weight is in one foot. Big toe is down in the other, rotating in, out, in, out, in, out. If it's starting to look like dance moves, it absolutely is the basis of lots of dance moves. You can do some stanky leg and still be doing basically the same thing. You can combine both legs, do both at the same time, and more dance moves. All right, keep on going. In, out, 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 in, out. As you get faster, more comfortable controlling those muscles, you can lean all of your weight into one leg, almost no weight in this leg, just toe gently down on the ground, and you can start shaking out that leg. Turn into jello, turn into flop, 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 and that is a whole bunch of relaxation for your legs for your hips, and we're ready to get into side split number 2. The reality of all of that is, I was over explaining. You don't need to be doing it for nearly that long. If you did half as much, you'd probably also be fine. All right. So if you're doing this at home without the live, you don't need to shake out nearly as much as we just did. Cool. Second side split. Let's go. 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall. Most people, that is 1.5 footsteps. Open up those legs. Focus on not feeling pain here in the hips. If you're feeling discomfort, bring your legs together, fold forward, bring that belly button down to the ground. I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to actually grab my stool this time. And when you're folded forward, feel free to elevate your hands. If you don't want to and you want to just hold on to the ground, perfectly fine. Absolutely. You do whatever you want, whatever feels comfortable, whatever makes you feel safe, whatever makes you feel like it's easier to get into. If you're feeling scared, if you're feeling uncomfortable, it's going to make it much harder for you to relax your muscles. And at the end of the day, we want relaxation. So take the time, use the tools, do what you need to feel comfortable. All right. From here, we're going to do the most important part of the show. We're rotating the legs. The thigh bone is going to rotate in that hip socket so that the thighs don't smash into your hips. And it looks like this. We're going from knees pointing forward and feet flat on the ground too. Rotating it back 90 degrees where the knees are pointing up and the heel is down and the toes are pointing up. From here, we've got one leg down. We got to do the other one. Foot is flat. Foot is no longer flat. Toes are pointing up to the sky. Heels are down. Again, if you need a little bit of cushioning, if you need a little bit of padding for your heels, flip flops are really good. A little bit of foam on each leg is good. And we're here. We're in our side split. You might be a little bit high off the ground still, but this is a side split. All right. All that we got left holding us up is the tension in our muscles. And it's time to wiggle. Lean a little bit to the left, lean a little bit to the right, lean a little bit to the left, lean a little bit to the right. Put some tension into those hip muscles, and slowly drift down into your stretch. Breathe, relax. Lean to the left, lean to the right, get a little wiggle in, and as you get deeper into the stretch, if you've gotten stuck already, it's totally okay. You can be absolutely stuck where you're stuck. Breathe, chill, try to relax as many muscles as you can from whatever position you're in. I told you to flex your feet, point your toes up into the sky at one point. At this point, if your legs are in the right general position where your knees are going the same direction as your head, all right? So if your knees are pointing up and your head is also up, great. You can relax everything else now. Relax the toes, relax the feet, relax the calves, relax the glutes, relax the hamstrings if those will relax, relax the glutes, low back, and breathe. Exhale as much air as possible. All right, we're here. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that is your second side split. Come on out of that stretch. Walk your hands forward. Walk, 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 walk. The more forward you crawl, the easier it will bring to the easier it will be to bring your legs in from underneath you. That is our second side split. We're going to get back into standing. We're going to shake out our legs. We're going to shake out our hips. We're going to turn into jello and spaghetti and flop around. And then we're going to get back into our third and final side split. Since I'm already so close to the camera, I'm going to take a quick peek. Oh, Johanna asked to do a frog. I'll look into that after the live. And the TikTok chat is stuck 99 plus new messages ago. So I'm not going to read that. We are going to get back into standing. Oh, shake out your legs, do a little dance, wiggle. When you're not walking around like a drunk penguin anymore, we're ready to shake out our legs. All your weight, one leg, shake out the other leg. The ankles are loose and they're flopping from side to side, around to the front, back. let the ankles relax. When the ankles are relaxed, all the muscles above them should also be relatively relaxed so that your ankles can move in the first place, right? That's what we want. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. If you're just doing one thing, try a couple other things. Flop around. And other side. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Shake it around. And when your legs are more or less relaxed, you can do another one for good measure. We're ready to move on to the hips. All of your weight is in one leg. Big toe of the other leg is down. The knees are rotating in and out and in and out and in and out. Notice the rest of the body is not moving. The only thing that's moving is this thigh bone in your hip socket. All right, you're working the muscles in that hip to practice rotation. When you get more comfortable with this, you don't have to hold that really deep squat to show that your knee is bending. You can stand up a little bit straighter. You can rotate a little bit faster. You can start picking up the speed, picking up the tempo. Put all of your weight, seriously, all of your weight into one leg, almost no weight in the other leg. So there's no tension here. And you're going to start shaking and flopping and relaxing that leg really hard and aggressively as well. Whew. Other side. All your weight is in one leg. Big toe is down. We're working those muscles in, out, in, out, in, out. If this looks like a dance move, you absolutely should be dancing. We already put so much time into making sure our hips are working and working well. The least you can do is put it to use with some dance moves. Do some stanky leg. Do both legs at the same time. In and out and in and out and in and out. And when you're ready, we can pick up the speed. We can stand up a little bit. We can relax that leg, and we can go and turn our legs into jello. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Your quad muscles should be shaking and going all over the place, and that is a sign you're relaxing. From here, we're ready to move on into our third and final side split. Double check your legs are feeling pretty loose, moving pretty well. You're feeling like jello, and we're ready to go. Step. Ow. I just smashed my heel into the wall. Whew. Okay, stand 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall. Try not to smash your heel into the wall. And let's begin. Open up your legs nice and wide. If your hips are hurting right here, you've gone too far. Bring your legs back in just a little bit. Fold forward. Focus on bringing that belly button down. Down, 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 down. If you can, put your hands down. If you cannot, elevate them. If you can and you just don't want to, elevate them. You don't have to have a custom stool just for this. You can have a coffee table. You can have a chair. Anything that you can stably rest your hands on is good. From here, we're going to do the most important part of the whole entire show. We're rotating the legs so that our thigh bones don't smash into our hip bones, so that we're actually working the right muscles. All right, so what I want you to do is straighten out those legs. Right now, your knees are probably pointing forward. What we want is to have your knees pointing up. So rotate that leg back 90 degrees. Your heel is down, your toes are up, your knees are pointing up. We're going to do that on both sides. Heels down, toes up, knees up. Boom. Both sides done. We are in a side split. Doesn't matter how high you are up in the air right now. You are working on your side split muscles. From here, get deep and get back into that side split position. We are going to wiggle a little bit from side to side and see if our legs drift out a little bit further. Every wiggle, we're trying to break the friction holding our feet back and see if we can get a little bit further. If you've gotten stuck a little bit higher up and you just can't go any further, that's absolutely fine. All right? If you can get deeper, go for it. Let's do it. We're trying to make progress here. Whew. Chill. Relax. Breathe. Like I said earlier, we are trying to relax as many muscles as possible. Relax it in our toes, in our feet, our ankles, our heels, our glutes, our low back, everything. Sigh out that air. Sink a little bit deeper into the floor. Sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. Do another wiggle. See if your feet will go out just a little bit further. And that's it. We're ready. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Walk your hands forward, and you'll feel more of a stretch in your inner thighs. 24, 23, 22, 21. Walk your hands back so that your butt is resting on the wall. You'll feel more of a stretch in your hamstrings. As long as your knees are pointing in the same direction as your head, you are doing a side split, and that's okay. All right? 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. We're done. Come on out of that side split. Ooh. Usually, I recommend that you walk forward and you can pull your legs in underneath you. But if you come up with another creative way to do that and come out of it, please use that. I want to talk about the stool and I want to talk about props real quick. We don't usually talk about these all that much other than to grab it and have it and make yourself comfortable. When you do have stuff to lean on, and this is not some special fitness chair, this is literally an $8 stool I bought off of Amazon. All right. And it's because I'm short and I need to reach high shelves. So if you got one of these because you're short and you need to reach high shelves, you can use it for stretching every single day. And when you need to go reach high shelves, you can go grab the stool for later. All right. What I want you to emphasize on over the next couple of lives as you do these stretches is experimenting with different positions. All right. You won't know until you try to see what helps you get into a deeper stretch. Sometimes, even though you're higher off the ground, if you're resting your elbows on the stool, you might feel more intense of a stretch in your hips. And that might be a really good position for you. It might be the case that if you were trying to hold the same height with your arms straight on the ground, you feel less tension. And maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. So experiment, figure out what you got, and enjoy. Cool? All right, that's it. That's everything. Come on back up into standing. Do a little wiggle, do a little dance. Get your legs back together. When you're done wobbling around like a drunk penguin, we are going to shake out our tension, shake out our muscles one more time. Then we're going to do a couple of joint checks and we'll wrap up. All right? Shaky, 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 shaky. All your weight is in one leg. Relax the ankle. Flop it around. You are a loose piece of noodle. Overcooked noodle. Flop, 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 flop. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Shake, 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 shake. If you have not added your arms in the past, add them in now. They worked real hard to keep you stable, keep you supported, so you can give them a little bit of relaxation too. Whee! All right. Other leg. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. It is extra important to relax during these morning shows because you got to have control of your muscles so you can do whatever else you got to do for the rest of the day, right? So make sure to flop, make sure to relax, make sure to wiggle. And when your muscles are relaxed, we're going to get into our hips. All of your weight is in one leg, big toe is down. We're rotating the knee in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Straighten out that leg, in, out, in, out, in, out. Straighten out some more, in, out, in, out, in, out. I'm pretty sure I'm saying out, in instead of in, out. You know, I'm saying in reverse, but it's okay. From here, as you get faster and more comfortable, you know, shake out the legs, turn them into jello, and do the other side. In, out, 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 and turn your legs into jello. Whew. Hopefully, your legs are a little bit more relaxed, and we're ready to move on into some joint checks to wrap up. What I want you to do is take it nice and slow, sit into it, do some hip circles. Oh, ah. If you've ever been to an Asian park where there's like a whole field of 75-year-old grannies doing Tai Chi or something slow and exaggerated like this, then you probably already know that a lot of slow movement is nice and feels real good. So you should do more of it. From here, I want you to double down on whatever feels a little bit weird or feels a little bit uncomfortable. If your hips are tight, because they are for me, I like to hang out right here and let the hips stretch out and chill. Sometimes I'll lean extra deep to get a little bit of an oblique stretch. Sometimes I won't. And once it gets a little bit more comfortable in the hip, I'll do a quick check to see what else is uncomfortable. If you have low back discomfort, like probably the entirety of everybody, you can flop and try and relax the spine just a little bit so that those muscles aren't firing nearly as hard. And from here, we're ready to move on. First thing we're going to do is a quick high knee. If your knees come up, you're ready to move on. From here, we're going to do some calf raises. All right. But we're going to do calf raises from a squat. And it's going to sound a little crazy, but we'll talk about that and we'll demonstrate it real soon. I want you to focus on your toes. Your toes, much like your fingers, are designed to be able to move, to support you, to help you balance. And I want you to doubly focus on them for a second. I want you to try and lift your toes off the ground. So right now your heels are down. The flesh under your big toe, right here, this part, and the flesh under your pinky toe should all be down on the ground. When they're down, I want you to try and raise your big toe and all the other toes up into the air as high as you can. And then I want you to do the opposite. I want you to clench your toes like you're making a fist. Bring them down like this. Or maybe imagine that you're grabbing something. Can I grab anything? No, I don't think I can. Does this work? Nope, not a chance. All right. Do the opposite. Make some fists with your feet. And then do the opposite again. Point your toes up as high as you can. Those are very, 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 very basic toe exercises. We're not going to get super deep into them, but I just want to remind you that your toes are designed to move and they're designed to support a lot of weight and help you balance. So if you're struggling a little bit with balance and you're finding that becoming a bit of a problem, try to get your toes involved. Try to get your feet involved. There's a bunch of muscles, a bunch of bones, a bunch of stuff in there to help you balance, and it probably needs a little bit of training. Okay, we're going to continue. We're going to pop into a bit of a squat. Your knees are relatively close together. From the front, it's going to look a little bit like this. From the side, it's going to look like this. What I want you to do is fold your chest down into your knees. And when you are here, you might feel like you want to tip forward a little bit. That's good. That's what we want. When you're feeling like you're about to tip forward, your toes should be working. They should be gripping into the ground to keep you from falling forward. So if you were making that fist earlier, use those muscles, the same muscles, just don't actually round your toes because then you'll have less surface area. But from here, we're going to push your knees forward, as far forward as we can. If you can't get it super far forward, get it to wherever you can. All right. From that position, you're going to feel a whole bunch of stretch in your Achilles tendon. You're going to feel a whole bunch of stretch in your calves. You can poke those calves, double check that they're all stretched out and they're tense. From here, you're going to really start feeling that pressure to lean forward, and your toes should be working real hard. But it's not just your toes, your feet, the arch of your foot should also be working real hard to keep you in position. All right, that's what we want. From here, we're going to do some calf raises. You can put your hands down if you want. You put your fingers down if you want. You cannot put anything down if you want. I want you to lift those heels, bring them up into the air, balance so that your weight is mostly between your big toe and your index toe, and then come back down. Then come on back up and come on back down. Again, we're leaning forward, coming back up, coming back down. You can do as many of these as you like, 3, 4, 5, 6. When your calves are tired, when your quads have given up, you can come back into standing, or before they've given up, you can come back into standing. And let's talk about why it's important to do a little bit of that type of movement. We just put a whole bunch of tension onto our toes, a whole bunch of pressure into the arch of our foot. We put a stretch into our Achilles tendon, into our calves. We put pressure into those quads to hold us stable, into the low back, and we were folding at the hips, the knees, the ankles, even I guess technically their toesies were folding just a tiny little bit. We were trying to combine all those joints, all those muscles, all of those tendons, get them to work smoothly together to go do stuff so that they remember they're designed to work together. All right? That, if you were able to do most of that stuff relatively well, then your joints and your muscles are probably working pretty well together. And that is how we wrap the show. If you enjoyed the live and you like practicing consistency, you need a little bit of help practicing consistency. You want to work on hip mobility, you want to work on side splits, keep on coming back. We are live every day, Monday through Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And this is a show about consistency. If you have the best possible plan, but you can't follow through on it, it's probably not the best plan, and it's not the plan that you need. So, if you need practice with consistency, you need a little bit of support, keep on coming back. We're here every day doing the live, working on our side splits, working on our hip mobility. What else? It's the weekend. On the weekends, we have a 9 a.m. live. This is what you're at right now. It's not just Saturday, it's also tomorrow, it's Sunday morning. So we have a live in like 10 and a half hours, 9 p.m. tonight. We have another live in like 20 2.5 hours, 9 a.m. tomorrow. If you want to start your day with more stretches, feel free to come back tomorrow morning. If you just want to do way more stretches because you love my personality, feel free to come back tonight. You don't have to come back to all of these. If your hips are tired, if you're feeling sore, feel free to take a day off to take some time to rest. But we're going to be here practicing consistency every single day. And I have been doing some version of this live for 450 plus days since December of last year, December 1st, 2024. So you can probably rely on the fact that I'm going to be here tonight, tomorrow morning, the day after, and unless I tell you otherwise, I'll be here. So come on back and join in. Okay, that's my spiel. Ugh. I'm gonna grab a chair. I'm gonna come look at the chat. Because this live has been running super long. Oh my gosh, it's super long. We're at 80 minutes already. Because it has been running a little bit long for a couple of days last week, I was trying to get through the meat of the content as fast as possible so that our regulars wouldn't be bogged down by answering questions during the live. That means I've shifted all of the talking to the end of the live, and I'm happy to spend as much time as we need to get through all the questions, comments, whatever is in here. I'm going to start real quick by scrolling a bunch, and actually I'm going to tackle YouTube because usually there's fewer comments in there. Oh man, there's actually a lot. Hold on. Farrison says hi. We had some lag earlier. Clinton says, Aloha, I'm from Hawaii. Wow, it's got to be super early in Hawaii. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We had a whole bunch of lag over on YouTube, a whole bunch of weirdness, and it's always really weird because I run a speed test and the internet is super fast, so I don't know what's going on, but YouTube is causing lots of issues. First, the fancy microphones no longer work on both the phones that we're using to record audio, so now we're back to an old earbud and hoping that works. And today we had a whole bunch of issues, but I appreciate that you guys are here surviving the technical difficulties with me. And over on TikTok, for everybody else who didn't experience any issues, thank you for understanding that the other platform has issues. All right. Johanna says the frog pose is one of the stretches we do during this live and is good to help train for the splits. Oh no, Queen RR was responding. The frog pose is actually not one of the stretches that we do in this stretch or in this show. The frog pose for everybody looks a lot like a horse stance, and I actually much prefer the horse stance because I like strength stuff and not chilly stuff for the most part. If you haven't seen me standing and just like throwing my legs and muscles around, the horse stance looks a little bit like this. We're opening up our legs, we're pointing our toes and our knees out as wide as we can. We're dropping our hips low. Drop, 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 drop. Drop some more. Drop, 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 drop. Drop some more. If you cannot get this low, that's totally absolutely normal. If you can only get here, that's fine. If you can only open up your legs half as far, that's also fine. We're slowly building up the strength and the ability to open up the hips in this position. We have not done the horse stance as part of the live in lots of months, possibly like 8 months, but it is a very, very, very good move for building up strength and control in your side splits. In fact, you can see that you can probably drop your hips, or it's anatomically possible for you to drop your hips so low that it looks like it's forming a straight line and you're just a little bit further away from a side split. Right? The horse stance from the side looks a little bit like this. Right? And when you rotate 90 degrees and you take it down to the floor like so, it becomes the frog pose. I find that my knees don't like being on the ground at that angle. And I feel a lot of pressure. And because of how much space it takes up to do it this way and how much stuff I need to set up to do the frog pose, I prefer the horse stance. And I prefer to tweak and adjust the horse stance. So if you are struggling to stand up and hold this position, you can do this with your butt against the wall, get yourself a little bit of stability. And when you're leaning against the wall, you can slowly wiggle your toes, you can wiggle your legs, you can push your legs open wider from here and still get a lot of the benefits of the frog pose, but you're doing it in horse stance. The horse stance, because of the fact that you're holding up your whole entire body weight, builds a lot more strength in these positions. And that is why I personally prefer doing a lot more horse stance over the frog pose. But because the frog pose is primarily a relax into it, stretchy type of stretch, you might get better results getting into your side splits, at least a little bit, from chilling and hanging out in the frog pose. Cool? All right. Ugh. Sorry, I had a sumo waddle for a second because my legs are really open. Um, do 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 do. The live is as long as it ends up being. Usually, it's about 60-ish minutes. If I do a lot of explaining, like on the weekends where we have way more new people, I tend to run a little bit longer, closer to 80, 90 minutes. And the final 10, 15, 20 minutes tends to be Q&A. I just answer questions and look at the chat and respond to the chat. So that is about what you can expect. Neko Panda is back and has told us that it is lagging. And then Johanna says, no, it's not lagging. And Neko Panda says, it was lagging. Okay, and everybody is experiencing a little bit different stuff from YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. Neko Panda is on vacation again, and I think that is everything over on YouTube. Johanna says, horse stance hurts so much. Yes, absolutely. The horse stance requires a lot of strength and a lot of mobility to do well. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to make it super intense right at the beginning, right? Just like we have wall sits, right? That kind of suck. You can take that same idea, open up your legs slowly, and bring it into a horse stance sit. That way, you don't have to figure out the balance as much. You can reduce some of the demands on your muscles and you can chill out here for a little bit. When you get comfortable starting against the wall, and you also don't have to go this deep. If you are higher up like this, that's fine. When you get more comfortable, you can move a little bit further away from the wall. And now the smaller muscles that have to work to help keep you stable are going to be adjusting and tweaking and figuring out how to keep you balanced. That will take it to the next level. And then as you get more comfortable, you can sit deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the stretch. And that will be all sorts of uncomfortable because your muscles are getting stretched and they're flexing really hard. This horse stance has a lot of similarities with the Cossack switch. And if you were to do just one stretch or one exercise, I recommend that you do a whole bunch of Cossack switches. That's because this straightened leg over here is basically doing a side split, right? Side split on one leg, side split on two legs. Boom, basically the same. And the other leg is doing a deep squat. You're basically just hanging out half and half in some of the deepest possible stretches that you can get into. So, if you're super ultra short on time, you want to do some warm up, you want to do some exercise, the Cossack switch is a wonderful exercise, and the horse stance is also really, really, really good. I think that's all I got on that topic. All right, scroll it. Ugh. Johanna says, I love it. Amazing. Okay, back on TikTok. I'm going to scroll to the bottom real quick. And Tomato asks if it stank. No, I actually don't sweat very much during the live, so I think it smells fine. But I appreciate your concern. Let's see what else we got in the chat. I'm scrolling up, so I'm scrolling backwards. So some of the responses are going to be a little bit funky. Helena says, love your energy. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Is that a Y? Yes. Yuri Sve says, hi. Hello, hello. Let's keep going. Thank you for today from Travel Darksy. CC says thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate the support. I hope you enjoyed the stretches. I hope you're feeling more relaxed, more chill. There's lots of little pieces that help make you feel better. The thoracic rotation right at the beginning tends to be very nice for your back. A lot of us wake up and our backs are stuck and frozen right away. So hopefully that was a nice way to wake up. Kana Bug says the ankle stretch was lethal. The ankle stretch, the ankle stretch, the ankle stretch. Was that when were we ankle stretching? Was that when we were shaking out the leg like this? Because that's when the ankle is the most relaxed in our show. But you said stretch. I'm trying to. Whoa! I almost spilled coffee. I didn't. Nice. Okay. Ankle stretch. If you are deep in a side split, sort of like in this position, it is totally possible for your legs to have your feet still facing down. I talk about this show as if you need to rotate everything perfectly all the time. It doesn't have to be that perfect. Um, But when you're first learning the position, it is definitely going to be a lot more helpful if you rotate the whole leg and you focus on rotating the whole leg. Eventually, if you have enough ankle mobility, you can bring the ankle back while keeping the leg in mostly the same spot. And also, I talked about this briefly when we were doing the stretches themselves, but for the side split, you just need your knees to point in the same direction as your head is pointing to get into a side split. All right. So if you are sitting down flat with your butt against the wall and your knees are pointing up and the top of your head is also pointing up, perfect. If you are leaning a little bit forward and your knees are leaning a little bit forward and your head is also pointing up at a diagonal, great. That is all right. And if you want to go super far forward and super flat to the ground, your knees can totally point back towards the camera, but the top of your head also has to point to the top of the camera. You gotta, sorry, to the top of the camera, towards you guys, towards the camera. So as long as your knees are matching the angle of your top of the head, it is a perfectly good spot. You're working on your side splits. All right. We talked about this earlier a little bit as well. You can rotate and change the intensity of that stretch and which muscles are getting stretched. If your hips are facing down, your chest is parallel with the ground, you're facing the ground, and your knees are sort of pointing towards you guys, towards the camera, and the top of my head is pointing towards you guys, towards the camera, you're going to feel more of a stretch in your inner thigh muscles, the adductors. That's very important because you absolutely 100% need that for your side splits. But if you walk your hands back and you sort of sit against the wall and you rest there, you're going to feel the stretch change. It's not going to be as much pressure in the inner thighs. You're going to feel more in your hamstrings right underneath. And you need that as well. In other sports, this is often called a straddle. If you've done some dance, some ballet, some gymnastics, this is closer to a straddle, and this is closer to working towards your middle splits. But we need both to get into the middle splits, the side splits. So you can switch back and forth and do whatever it is that you need. I hung out there for a little bit too long, and now my legs need a little break before I can get moving again. So I'm going to casually drink a sip of water while my legs recover, and oh, there we go, boom. Come back to the chat. Oh, I don't know why I started explaining and breaking down the side split because the comment was the ankle stretch was lethal. Hopefully, that's what you were talking about. The ankle bent off to the side like that because I can't remember any other part where we worked on the ankle. Kanabug says, I'm barely recovering. Are you barely recovering in between multiple lives because we have so many? Or are you barely recovering in between each of the stretches? Oh, no, no, no. Are you talking about the side splits? Because you're not actually getting any looser while you shake it. Oh man, I almost spilled my coffee again. Are you talking about when we flop our ankle around all over the place and you're not relaxing enough to feel like it's actually helpful for your next side split? Is that what's going on? I'm going to scroll up while I give a chance for that to get responded to. I imagine a bunch of people have dropped off. So if they get no response, I guess that conversation just kind of ends. But if you're still here, answer my question. I'm just kidding. You don't. You can do whatever you want. What else do we have? A whole bunch of people following the live. Amazing. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the support. Jay sending the tap emojis. Nada is bending the knee and showing off some calf muscles in the form of an emoji. Laird says, my hip flexor is sore. What can I do? If your hip flexor is sore, there's two things you can do. One is not move and recover. The other is move and convince your brain that it doesn't need to be as uncomfortable. And then you'll be sore again later. Okay? So the hip flexor is generally here in the front of the hips. So I hope that's what you're talking about. And how do I say this? If you're a little bit sore in lots of different places, you can usually just do a little bit of movement, gentle, nice movement. And if you keep that pace up, you'll be sore for a little bit, and then slowly as you move, you'll be less sore. And if you keep that level of movement, you won't be sore again until a couple minutes, maybe half an hour after you stop moving again. So don't let that hold you back. Unless you're super ultra sore and you're completely stiff and you can't move right now, then maybe you should just relax and take a rest. Those are basically the two options. You can choose to stretch your hip flexors in their stretched position would be hip extension, which is bringing the leg back behind you and feeling this get stretched out a little bit. Alternatively, you can do the opposite. You can strengthen your hip flexors by lifting the leg and holding it up. Your hip flexors do a lot of work in the L sit, for example, and you can try a combination of both, all three, or four, whatever I recommended. What was it? Relaxing, just moving in general, maybe going for a leg jog. That will get your brain to forget that it's sore for a little bit, and then once you come back after half an hour, you'll start being sore again. But you'll have some time to go do other stuff where you're not sore, right? Like if you need to go run an errand, you can run to it, and then that will be double the useful time. What I talk about? Stretching, if you want. Chances are it's not going to do that much for your soreness, but in general, it's okay to be able to relax those muscles. And it's also really good to be able to contract those muscles when you want to contract them. And having control over your contraction, having control over your relaxation is what helps you go do crazy, fun, cool things like side splits. So definitely don't sleep on doing a combination of everything. I hope that helps. All right, let's see. What else we got? What else we got? What else we got? I'm scrolling. Renison Roop Singh says, "Thank you, sir. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for engaging in the chat. I appreciate it." Let me keep scrolling. What's up? I got a compliment here from My Hair Holds Secrets. You should teach twerking too. Thank you. Twerking apparently comes all from the low back. I learned this when I was trying to figure out why my back hurt. And I was like, oh, hey, is this what twerking is? And it absolutely is. It's not about your butt at all. It's about your low back. And now you have the secrets of twerking as well. Let's see. Che says, here, smiley face. Welcome. Make Me Resin says, good morning. Good morning. Wait, what? Is this the bottom of the chat? Make Me Resin says, good morning. And what else we got? What state am I in? I am on the East Coast. I'm in New York. What else we got? Jeff Montgomery says, hi. Hello. All right. That, I think, is all the chat comments in the chat. I think we're wrapped up. There are still 157 of you in the live. If you got questions, you got comments, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'll be here for a couple more minutes, and as they come in, I will answer them. But if you are otherwise just confused why the algorithm has sent you here, and you're like, what's going on? What's all these people doing? We just wrapped up 80-ish minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. Oh, we do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern. It is obviously not 9 p.m. Eastern. It is like 10:30 a.m. Eastern. That's because on the weekends we do a live at 9 a.m. So Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, we go 9 a.m. Eastern, and we just wrapped that up, and we're doing some Q&A now. So if you want to work on hip mobility, if you want to work on your side splits, come on back, hang out. We're live every single day. Hit follow, hit subscribe, watch some of my other content. Most of the content is not related to side splits at all. It's about having like a healthy balance and mindset towards getting some exercise mixed in with your regular day. So if you got 2 minutes waiting for your hot water to boil for coffee, if you got 2 minutes waiting for your ramen to finish, you got 2 minutes to get a quick little leg exercise, leg workout in. If you got time to walk through the park, enjoy your spring day on the way home, then you got time to do a little tiny workout at a park bench. So don't sleep on those couple of minutes. When you integrate enough of those little pieces into your life, it adds up. And if you're already going those places, or if you're already waiting, those are minutes that you can save from having to spend driving to a gym and doing exercise there. If you like doing that stuff, please keep going to the gym and keep exercising. But if you know you're not doing that already and you want a little bit more exercise because you know it's good for you, check out some of those other videos. All right, that's it. Ugh. Is there anything else? 9 p.m. 9 a.m. We have another show in like 10 and a half hours. So you can come to that if you just missed this and you're like, what the heck is going on? And otherwise, 22 and a half hours tomorrow morning if you want to start your day with some side splits. That's it. Ugh. Again, I grunt, I groan, I make a lot of sound effects. If you need to grunt, if you need to groan, please make as many sound effects as you'd like, because I can't hear it, so I won't judge. All right. There's still 125 of you online over on TikTok. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed the live. I hope you're feeling good. We are all about practicing consistency. So come back, hang out, work on those stretches, suffer with us on the floor, and hopefully we'll make a whole bunch of progress together. All right? I'm closing out for today. I gotta go be social and hang out with my siblings. I will see you all real soon in like 10 and a half hours. Bye bye. Closing out.